Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Trails of Cold Steel 4. Side quest time. Oh, it's you guys. Instructor Thomas and the lady from the Crossbell Times. Good to see you two again. Reen, Toa, it's been quite some time. It seems I just missed you and Aaron. Like ships passing in the night, aren't we? Yeah, guys, Rosine told us you've been there. So, who's your friend over there? I've seen you around, but I don't think we've actually spoken. Those eyes. He must be blind.
I had better make a formal introduction. I am Marcel Nielsen, freelance journalist.
Of course. I've already heard all about you. The redoubtable Miss Herschel, of Class 7 and the Ashton Chevalier alike. Or perhaps it would be more accurate to call you the ultimate sacrifice of the Great Twilight. How do you know about that? Knowing things is his business. Marcel taught me everything I know about journalism. He's even won the Fulzer Prize several years in a row at that. He's covered the mysterious incidents in Wilbur, the DG cult incident, even the annexation of Crossbell. Wow, that's an impressive resume. I remember hearing about you, but what are you doing here with Grace and Instructor Thomas? Well, first off, allow me to apologize for not helping you during that little incident on the Pandagur. You see, there was a certain something I had been searching for at the time. An artifact passed down through the Imperial family, the final volume of the Black Records. You mean the secret books you and Reen were deciphering? Between flame and earth, the wavering darkness begins to spin the tale of end. First the conflict with the great gods of the second pillar. Second, the fusion of the earth and flame. Third, the beginning of the 1,000-year and the acceptance of the Grawl. Fourth, the disappearance of the holy beast and the catastrophe of the whispering dragons. Fifth, the rapture of the capital and the Valerian curse. Sixth, the lion's war and the sacrifice of the holy maiden. Seventh, the appearance of the great pillar in the north and the unwanted child. Eighth, the sacrifice of a village in a 100 Days campaign. Ninth, the great blue tree to the east and the appearance of the cursed castle. Thus the 1,000-year-old wish was fulfilled. When the sacrifice is made and the ancient blood flows, the path to the Grawl of Erebos shall open. When the tainted holy beast is pierced by the blade of the world's end, and its blood fills the Grawl, the great twilight shall fall upon the land. So there's actually more to it than that. That's what His Majesty told me when I visited him at St. Ursula. There's an additional volume awaiting what will happen after the Great Twilight. Sadly, however, His Majesty never read it himself. Whoa, it can even record the future? There's artifacts for you. They operate on a whole different kind of logic. All that stuff about the recluse cube back in Wilbur, whoosh, right over my head. I think this is all at a loss. I think all of us are at a loss over it, to tell you the truth. Lucky for us, Mr. Nielsen's already gotten a hold of the last volume, right? Huh? Oh, right on the money. My. This must be the work of the Eight Leaves School's famous unclouded eye technique, no? It is as you say. I possess the final volume. It took a month of searching all throughout the Empire. And curiously enough, though my own eyes themselves are clouded, I can still read the contents of the book. That this is the final volume of the Black Records is an unmistakable fact. Naturally, once I heard about it, I set about negotiating a trade. In the end, we settled on a very simple condition. All you have to do, Reen, is give Marcel an interview. Huh? Me? But don't worry, I don't actually plan on publishing it. I've already pieced together a few basic facts from your lineage alone, as well as the unfortunate position you've been placed in. Nevertheless, it's my nature to seek out the truth. I want to find out exactly what's going on here in Empire, in Erebonia, and what better way to get said the truth than to ask one of the people directly involved. Everything I've heard puts you at the center of all the strange happenings that have occurred over here the past few years. I'd be happy to give you the last of the Black Records in return for answering a few of my questions. Reen. Goodness me, Wazzy told me you were perceptive, but it's rather unnerving just how much you already know. What do you say, Reen? The decision ultimately lies with you. The war is only 5 days away. This could all help out Owie the situation, if only a little. I guess so. Alright, you can ask me anything you want. You have my thanks. I really appreciate this, Reen. Hey, do you mind if I sit in on the interview? I'm joining in too. No journalist worth her salt will let a chance like this get away. Toa, Thomas, and Grace remained in the room while everyone else left to wait outside. Thus did Reen's interview with the blind journalist then begin. Dooley says nothing. Now, Reen, I understand that Thomas was your history teacher, and given Miss Herschel's grandfather's expertise, I am certain she knows her fair share as well. So I'd like to pass right on to get to the heart of the matter, if that's alright with you. Yeah, sure. I have to admit I'm feeling a little nervous. You can go ahead and start whenever you're ready. I can't let my nerves get to me. Let's begin with a quick synopsis then. As it stands, the Great Twilight phenomenon is currently enveloping the whole of the Empire. The force behind it is called Operation Yarmangard, while the resistance against they are referred as Mille Mirage. Moreover, the key factors of this entire dilemma are the 7 Divine Knights, as well as the 2 Septarians they had been forged from. A great number of the implications behind these events are too much for humanity at large to handle. They make the history of our entire species feel trivial, meaningless even. But if we seek out these truths with an open mind, I believe there's more awaiting us than mere existential dread. What's happening here goes beyond just Erebonia. There are a myriad of different factors at play. There are? I see. Sounds like this is about to get deep. Just how much does this guy know? One of these factors is of course the Erebonian Empire. Thanks in part to the Arnar family owing alliance to neither the clans of Earth nor Fire, they quickly rose to prominence. Thus today, Erebonia stands as one of the oldest nation-states in Zemuria. With the help of the Septarian Church, it quickly expanded both of its territories and its influences. That spectacular growth was also what gave birth to the Empire's unique sense of system of class. Idiot. All of which accumulated 350 years ago with the War of the Lions. There are plenty of intriguing rumors regarding what went on behind the scenes, but that's not quite what concerns us at the moment. What does concern us is what happened in the wake of the war, something that's exerting an influence on the world even today. Do you know what it is I'm referring to, Reen? I think so. You mean Dracos' post-war, resonance? Right? Or whatever. A whole lot of inventions were introduced during that time. Stuff people couldn't even dream of back in the Dark Ages. It helped make the country what it is today, making huge leaps forward in law, economics, and culture alike. The founding of the Thor's Military Academy is a perfect example. That's right, because anyone can enroll regardless of class or nationality. It helped a lot of commoners get into the Imperial Army or obtain government posts. Thinking about it like this, you could also say it indirectly led to the formation of the noble and reformist factions, and even the Civil War itself 2 years back. Right, the noble faction would never have been so militant if those class distinctions hadn't been so pronounced to begin with. That likely had repercussions beyond the army and the government as well. Very good. It seems we're more or less on the same page. Let's move on to the factors that work outside of Erebonia then. Now I realize that's a rather broad description to use, so for our purposes, we'll narrow it down to Liberl, North Ambria, Jirai, Nord, and Crossbell. Calvert also borders the country, as of course, but it really deserves to be in a category of its own. Whether the Nord Highlands count as part of the Empire, it's up for contention, and Crossbow has been a contested territory for hundreds of years. But these territories weren't under Erebonia rule when the Empire was first founded. Even so, their impact on Imperial matters back then was by no means small. We have, for instance, the Nord Highlands, where the Imperial Prince made his travels, as well as Oberl, where the massacre at Hamel sparked the 100 Days' War, and thus conflict between the nobles and reformists. Of course, it goes without saying that those particular situations were instigated by Erebonia itself, but there was one specific event, not directly connected to the Empire, that still had a great influence on its future. Does anything spring to mind, Reen? Let's see. The only thing I know of that fits the bill is the salt pail, the one that appeared during the Northumbrian disaster. We still don't know exactly what caused it, but it definitely wasn't the Empire. A natural disaster like that would surely have had far-reaching consequences. That's true. It set off the sequence of events that led to Northumbria changing from a principality to an autonomous state. A lot of refugees fled to Erebonia, and the Northern Jaegers started staging all sorts of resistance efforts. And Northumbria's trouble spilled over to the neighbors in the west. July's resulting economic hardships were just what the Empire, or rather, Chancellor Osborne, needed to turn its people against Crow's grandfather. Yeah, that's exactly right. I see. When you think of it that way, you really start to glean the wider impact that disaster had on the world. Even the Imperial Liberation Front's creation can be traced all the way back to it. Quite right. It's an event that certainly deserves our consideration, if we aim to properly unveil the goings on the Empire. Let us conclude by moving on to the happenings to the east. Again, to narrow things down, we'll specify east to mean Crossbell, now a part of the Empire in the Republic of Calvert. We may end up bringing other powers on the continent into discussion, but for now let's focus on these two. Calvert has fought with the Erebonia for control of Crossbell for ages now. About 100 years back, their monarchy was overthrown and a republic established. Then 27 years ago, Calvert and Erebonia negotiated shared rule of Crossbell, effectively turning it into an autonomous state. Autonomous? No. But some 30 years or so before that, Crossbell was actually a part of the Empire. Were you aware of that? Come to think of it, I think we did touch upon that in our history classes, if only just barely. I guess the Imperial School wouldn't want to give a lot of attention to a losing territory. We still have the old Governor General's residence from when we were the first under Imperial rule too. There were rumors that the old pro-Erebonian speaker took it as a mansion. He ended up holding some real shady auctions in there. Omniscience like this are a common story, I'm afraid. For the Empire, the shared jurisdiction represented a loss, a humiliation. Thus they gave it a less and less prominence in their histories over time, in an attempt to cover it up and diminish its importance. I see. Yeah, that about explains it. Dragles' post-war reconnaissance spurred Calvert onto a great number of social changes. Resonance, whatever. Many of which led to them increasing their own sphere of influence, eventually resulting in the dispute over Calvert. The tension between the two nations had festered throughout the generations, especially on the side of Erebonians. And the curse is bringing all that animosity to the forefront. Calvert's revolution was a time of rapid change and upheaval. Those things are never exactly simple, but there was one force that was instrumental in overthrowing the old social order. How's your knowledge of the international history, Reen? Do you know what it is? Well, a lot of people immigrated to Calvert around that time. They still do to this day, in fact. Indeed. At the time, Calvert was verging on the brink of an economic collapse. It is said that the merchants moving in from the east gave the revolutionary forces enough financial aid to tip the scales in their favor. These are the rumors that the Eastern assassins were sent after major leaders on both sides. Ah, so that's how the flow of the people from the East affected Calvert's revolution. That revolution led to Crossbell's autonomous statehood, which in turn led to its struggle for independence and substantial re-annexation. Leading further still to the innovation of the Calverdarian Special Forces just last year. Intervention. I'm starting to see how it all connects to the Operation Jormungand and Mule Mirage. Yeah, there's more behind-the-scenes dealings to this than just Erebonia. This isn't really an interview, is it, Mr. Nielsen? It's more like a debriefing. Thanks to you, we have a much more firmer grasp on the continent's past, present, and future. All these events have laid the groundwork for the curse of the Empire to take root. Then why you put it, the way you put it, even my becoming a sacrifice to the Great Twilight sounds like it was inevitable. So that's what this was about. Mr. Nielsen. Well, you are a key figure in this after all. I simply felt you had a right to know. Though talking through and discussing our various theories was rather enjoyable too. Oh. It's relatively short compared to the others, so it shouldn't take you long to decipher. In any case, you have my thanks for volunteering your time. Now if you'll excuse me, I must go off in search of my next story. Wait, you're leaving? How? Oh, I've arranged passage with one of the transports passing through from Aragon. They'll take me as far as Milsante. I'm sure I can find myself a train from there. Wow, that's pretty thorough. Do you mind if we tag along? This is just too good to pass up. I've got to tell Rains about this. Well, it looks like this is where we part ways, but I expect we'll meet again, perhaps with our reader present next time around. An appealing prospect, to be sure. Thanks for everything, Mr. Nielsen. I feel like my understanding is finally up to speed. I'll try to take a wider perspective of what we're getting ourselves into going forward. Yes, thank you. This has all been very enlightening. The pleasure was all mine. Now then, I bid you farewell. That was a long side quest. Thanks much, Reen. I'll get right on to translating the final volume. It'll take me a couple of days, but I'll try to get it done before you have to leave. I appreciate it. Will you be heading back to your Merkaba then? Not yet. I need to discuss some things with Rosine. Plus, our ship is still in need of some repairs. Take care, Instructor. Hopefully we meet again sooner instead of later. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been alive enough to see you. Well, we did spend 2 years together at Thor's. That has to count for something, no? Now then, everyone, until we meet again, take care in the meantime. You never have guessed he was a member of the Gralswetter by his looks alone. That ability was ought to be outlawed. Phew, that was really a loaded conversation, huh? But everything we learned from it made it worthwhile, wouldn't you say? Yeah, I definitely feel like I've gotten my head together now. I won't let all this talk of prophecies and destiny hold me back. Whatever the Black Records say will happen. I'll face it head on. That's the spirit, and remember, all of us will be right by your side. Nice. Alright, time to finish up the rounds and recoil. There was that friend of Judah's, the one who visited us earlier. Oh, what was her name again? Charlotte, of course. You don't see such a kind, good-natured girl very often. She and Judah look very good together. I know he'd be in good hands if they tied the knot someday. Charlotte and I are friends now. I've never been friends with a noble before. Oh, I can't wait until Judah and Charlotte come back again to play with me. The chapel. It's been a week since we started the anxiety support group, and today someone's finally shown up. However, even helping one person is no easy task. I just hope we can provide the guidance they're looking for. Oh, you're just a merchant, who cares? Please, Adios. Oh, hello. I'm sorry, I didn't notice you there. We're sorry for interrupting you. It seemed like you were deep in prayer. I was. I just heard the Imperial Chronicle report about the Emperor's condition and thought I should pray for him. If there's a report, does that mean? Indeed, they've settled on a day for the operation. The article indicated that the Emperor's chances of recovery were slim, but I know he'll be fine. Idios would not abandon him. Well, you're putting a lot of faith in her. Most people wouldn't be so devout when it comes to something like surgery. Really? Well, when you put it like that, it's a little embarrassing. But I don't think there's any need to lose hope. No matter what, His Majesty is doing his best to recover. Aw, I like that Sister Olfa sees the silver lining in every cloud. Yeah, even I'm starting to feel a little more positive. Recruit.
Given the choice, I prefer to support Lady Charlotte's decision. However, I also understand how the Master must feel to know she's been fraternizing with commoners. You see, Lady Charlotte's mother was killed by one.
Oh, murder.
She was quite the philanthropist, always trying to understand the struggle the common folk went through. Her charity work took her to some rather shady neighborhoods, and well, you can imagine the rest. We were easily able to recover the Carnera necklace her attacker stole, but the mistress herself wasn't so lucky. Since then, the Master is determined never to experience such a tragedy again.
You know, I can say I'm sorry, and I can also say that I hope it was just murder.
Certain? Get out here, you can't hide from me!
Now it's been declared. Everyone's so on edge. She's got some nerve shirking his duties at a time like this. I'll give him a piece of my mind when I catch up to him. It's only a matter of time. He's got to be in recoil somewhere. You pulled together another impressive show today. Keep it up. It's a pleasure to hear you enjoyed yourself, sir. We look forward to your next visit.
Right, and next time we'll be getting the free VIP treatment, remember?
Of course. How could I forget? At this rate, we'll be in the red in no time. That woman obviously isn't there for fun. My, we've got a full house today. What kind of luck is in the cards for you, I wonder? Come take a chance. The stakes are high, but the rush is unbeatable. Once you're in the army, you're not going to get many chances to enjoy yourself anymore, you know? So why not live it up while you can? The fun and games are never end with us. Yeah, I bet they don't. Boom, boom, boom. Right. Ah. Oh my, everyone's come to have some fun, I see. Have a seat and take a load off. Wait, Majori.
Who are these men?
These are my friends.
Oh, I see. Welcome.
That woman really does have a magic touch. Men just fall at her feet. I never assumed I was the only one pursuing this wonderful woman. But I never could have imagined the reality of the situation. That doesn't mean I'm going to give up. My love is stronger than that. I have a proposal for you. Why don't we have a competition to see who's the best fit for Majori?
I'm all too happy to oblige. Well, I can hold you back down if you're going to take him up on that. You leave me no choice. I'll give it a go. Good, the game will be poker. I'll give you some time to prepare. You better be on your A game. Whew, I can't wait to see how this turns out. Wow, what a woman. Just put it nicely. It's really busy today. All the tables are buzzing. Especially as this may be the last chance for these soldiers to relax. I hope they can really let loose so they can get into battle without any regrets. Well, majority on the second floor is really great at games. Every dealer here knows her. I don't know what we'll do with so many folks here, but things are about to get interesting. Welcome, welcome. We have a lot of visitors today. With all the games I've had to deal, I've started to feel like I'm getting better as a dealer. What do you say? Want to play? Nah, I'm good. Brad and his little gang are nothing but trouble these days. I even tried lecturing him about his behavior, but then he never came back to the restaurant. Their reputations are well deserved, nothing but a bunch of hoodlums. Now that I think about it, I haven't seen nor heard of the Jaeger since yesterday. The soldiers are talking about getting their assignments. Maybe it's because war's about to start. You all need to be extra careful. Alright. The Hermit Bar in, and then we're done with this place. We can go to Ortis, my favorite town, and hopefully not get myself stuck walking around, as I probably am going to.
What'll it be?
I don't know yet.
Come again?
The more I look at the medieval china set I bought off Marcone, the more beautiful it seems. Oh, the antique coin collection, the quality is far better than I expected. All in all, this trip to Quell was the greatest success. Sounds like she's got a really good deal. These kids have gotten out of hand. Brawls, extortion, petty crime. I can overlook it if they're just being rowdy. But if they're going to hurt our customers, I'm going to have to rethink things. Is this about Ash's friends? Unfortunately. They've brought back Fafnir, the team Ash established during the Civil War, are running wild. This sounds like it's being caused by the curse. Where are they now? I haven't seen them today. There have been whole days lately when I haven't seen them at all. I wonder what they're up to. We should check this out when we got a chance. Alright, we're done there. So the next thing to do is to start around over there.
I'll handle this.
Oh shit, I didn't even resist. I should just walk around as Yuna again like we did before. Just like before.
I shall
We'll do it
go.
with
Let's
Laura.
go!
My turn.
I know all of the workers really well, so it's easy to give them instruction. I finally found the right path in life, and then I got conscripted. I wonder if I'll be able to find my way back after the war. If I do, I want to go back to the harbor management. I love seeing the happy faces of tourists enjoying a cruise. I just can't get enough of this town. I seriously cannot. There really are a lot of ships out there. I'm actually noticing some things that I didn't notice before, like how big